there was that really cool line in Fight Club, guys. And all you remember it. So you are not your car, you're not your money, you're not your belongings, you're not your possessions, blah 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 blah. Like you are not any of those things. And they probably should have added like you are, you're not validated like through your wife or your girlfriend or your children or whatever it might be, your car. They probably should have added like the passion part for a lot of young guys coming up that seek validation through women, and kind of in a way possessing them. Um, but that line has always resonated with me, and I know it resonates with a lot of you guys. And I mean, the truth is, the validation that you're going to get cannot come from any of those things. And I'm telling you guys this because I wish somebody told me that when I was younger. Like all these videos that I'm basically putting out is stuff I would have liked to hear when I was coming up because I was king degenerate. King validation coming from things and stuff and women and all that nasty stuff. Like every base desire you can get, like you could find validation in for me, right? And same thing goes through working out, lifting weights, like validation through aesthetics and diet and body and what you can do with it and the girls and the job you have and the car you have and the stuff, man. And at the end of the day, that stuff doesn't validate you and it's not going to fill you. There's always that funny phrase, and you guys have heard this before. You can put all that jam, all that stuff in there. Nothing's going to validate it. Nothing's going to fill up that hole like inside you. Because check this out, guys. Here's where I'm going to say something that's going to, bend some of you young guys' mind. And it would have bent my mind if I heard it at like, whatever, man, 26 or 24, even younger. Um, that that validation that you're seeking will never fulfill you, and you'll always be empty no matter how much more you get. And that hole that's inside you, it's a God-shaped hole. It's a God-shaped hole. And it's not like the spirituality of you. It's not the commandments of you. It's not the credo of you. It's not you making a God of you, because that's not going to work either. Because guess what? You're flawed in so many different ways. You could make sacrifices to the altar of you, and you're always going to come up short because that God of you is a greedy, nasty God that's always going to disappoint you. So that God-shaped hole is actually God, right? And the only way you can get to know God and that God-shaped hole, guys, is through going to church, through reading, through spending time in prayer. You can call it meditation, you could call it prayer. It's the same thing, right? But you have to submit to God to be under his mission, and then you don't need validation through those other things. Like you become able, as I said in another video, you're able to move through the world without seeking validation in those things. They become things you have. They become possessions of yours, not something that possesses you, right? When you're possessed by something, that's some like demonic stuff. Like you're possessed with the obsession to have a better position at work or more money in the bank or a better body or a six pack or an eight pack or better biceps or a prettier girlfriend or better sex in the bedroom or whatever, any of those things. You don't need to be validated through that. Like you'll be able to move through, and if you get those things, that's awesome. And if you don't, that's awesome too, and it doesn't make a difference. That stuff, because that's not where your validation, that's not what you're filling in that God-shaped hole, because God's there. And you have to go through the rubrics of practicing religion. There's something called the virtue of religion. It's a virtue. Ver, like in virtue, in Latin means man. Like it's a masculine thing to do. So if you don't have a masculine church, I suggest you go find one. The most masculine churches that you will find, and I mean this very, very sincerely, guys, the most masculine churches you're going to find are the ones that have the most families in them, a husband and a wife and a whole bunch of kids. Those will be the most masculine churches you will find. Big families, not ones and twos, like families that are rolling up. They're like, whatever, man, 32, 34 years old, and they're like 7 kids deep. And you see a lot of those, that's going to be a very, very masculine church, because there's something masculine attached to fatherhood and being a husband and being in church underneath God, underneath God's mission. That ends up being very, very masculine. Very masculine. So guys, I make these videos for me. I make these videos for you guys, because even if it's one dude, that makes a difference, that one dude. And these are lessons I would have shared with myself. So just to remind you guys, like, subscribe, share. I don't care. My validation doesn't come through it, but like, yeah, if it gets like the algorithms like click up, like I think that's better for dudes like me that are not the brightest, but that are good and that want to come out of the world of nonsense, the Matrix, right? That's kind of what it is. It's the Matrix. So like it and share it. Not that I get validation through your subscription, but the algorithms can share it with more dudes, and that's more important than anything else. Out.